story of my family. We're the Duggars.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the show 19 Kids and Counting and just the drama surrounding it. Recently there's been more things that have come out about the show. This show I used to be obsessed with when I was younger, and to hear all this drama is literally insane to me. But it's expected nowadays. If you've seen my last videos, you never know what's going on behind the camera, so it's crazy to see. But today we're just going to be talking about their story, a little bit about who they are, and then just the recent drama that have been talked about recently online. With all that being said, we're going to get right into this video. So if you've never heard of the show 19 Kids and Counting, it is literally just what the title says. It is a whole family. The parents' names are Jim, Bob, and Michelle, and they literally have 19 children. This show was very interesting to me when I was younger, because I was like, why do they have so many kids? Their show is based off of them raising their children off of their religious beliefs. They were raised in a Christian Baptist household, so they were very conservative. They were not allowed to wear pants. They couldn't date. They would go on courts. They would court their people. They would have to have a chaperone while they were in dates, literally at these ages at 24, 25, which is interesting to me. They couldn't kiss before marriage. They couldn't hug before marriage, which all of this is somewhat normal for some religions. But I would say this family definitely took it to an extreme. I mean, it's a TLC show, so if you see other TLC shows, there's My Strange Addiction, Kate+8 or whatever. All those shows, it's just that, but extreme. And even crazier, every single child's name starts with a J, so they are all J names. So it's very interesting, the whole family, the dynamic of the family. So they're very close, so it's what they would do since they had so many kids. They would have the older children have a buddy system. So it would be an older child and then the younger child, and that older child would eventually take over and take care of that younger child. So pretty much parent the younger child. Could see this family was deemed as picture perfect because they would film literally everything. So they would film weddings, the birth of the children, of the grandchildren. Now a little background of the mother. She was really religious, but she wasn't as strict as she was to her children. She even talked about wearing bikinis on a lawnmower and all of this and such and all that. And Jim Bob explains how he immediately fell in love with Michelle, and this is when they decided they wanted this many kids. So overall, they seem like a picture perfect family. But not long ago, around 8 years ago, I believe it was, some things have come out about the oldest child, Josh Duggar. It was come out that Josh was inappropriately touching victims at an age when he was 14 years old. It has come out not long after that those victims were 4 of his sisters and another girl. Now, keep in mind, they started the show in 2008. So that was way after the fact that Josh has touched his sisters, that Josh had this problem, that Josh was, not well at that age. So they started this reality TV show after the fact that happened, that this occurred to their siblings. I know that Jill and Jessa were 2 of the victims, and they were 9 and 12 when this happened. There are so many cases of people in these huge religious families that things like this happen because it is so frowned upon that children act out upon these ideas and things that aren't spoken about in their religious beliefs. If this happened to your kid, what would you do? You probably would send them to get help, right? That's what I would think. To a psychologist or just someone that has experience on children like this. Now, it's not that they didn't do this. They sent Josh to a Christian facility. It was the Institute in Basic Life Principles. It was a Christian ministry that they sent them to, right? So they sent him to this ministry, and the way they found out about this was Josh actually confessed to his parents himself at this young age that he knew that he touched these girls inappropriately. According to the girls and to the family, the girls didn't know that they were being touched by their brother. They didn't know that it was a problem.
We didn't even know about it until he went and confessed it to my parents, and they shared it with us. No.
None of the victims were aware of what happened until Joshua confessed, and then
it wasn't like we were keeping a secret, afraid or something. It was we didn't know until Josh explained to my parents what his thought process was, what everything was.
Which I also find that very hard to believe back then, that the parents defended that, oh, the girls didn't understand. Please, bro, you're being touched at that age. And we know all of this based off of an interview Jim Bob and Michelle went on.
They knew about it, and besides Michelle and I and Josh. And so we thought, what do we do with this information? And the girls, we talked to them, and they didn't know that anything had happened because they were asleep. And so
It kind of explained, like, they took care of it.
So we talked to him, we put all kinds of punishments on him. We watched him like all the time. I took him to work with me, and he just, I mean, we just poured our life into it.
Like, everything was fine. Josh knew what he did was wrong. They weren't really, like, defending his behavior, but they were kind of, you know, saying, oh, that's in the past, like, it happened, like, because she did say in the interview, she was like, so why did you guys even do a reality TV show knowing the past of your family? They were like, well, that was in the past, like, he got the help he needs, he's fine. Like, come on now, let's be real. If your family has a past of that, like your child, and then you're gonna make a reality TV show based off your children when literally you guys aren't as good as you preach to be. But what makes the situation worse is they had the two girls go on an interview too, and you could tell that they're extremely uncomfortable. Jessa was 22 and Jill was 24, and like Jill starts crying because everything was exploited on the internet and she was upset by it. I'm going to rewind a little bit and talk about Josh really quickly. So we know that he touched his sisters, right? But then there's a little bit more that Josh did. It wasn't just this that caused the world to kind of be like, oh my god, like this family's insane and like Josh is crazy. In 2021, he was found with inappropriate videos of children. Now you know what kind of videos I'm talking about. Those videos were found on his laptop. And it was like crazy videos that are like unknown, like dark web videos that this man would watch. And like I said, he claimed to have the help that he needed, and he was better now, apparently, according to the family, which obviously is not the case. And it's extremely like terrible. It's so sad because he's actually married to Anna Duggar as well and has a few children himself. And the videos of these children that he was watching were the age of his children. So take what you want from that, but it's disgusting. He's a disgusting human being. So right now he is facing up to 20 years in prison because of this. So they do have 7 children as well, Anna and Josh. And once he was convicted and arrested, they were expecting another girl. But now going back to what I was thinking about Jill recently put out this memoir called Counting the Cost, and it kind of exposed the family because the family wasn't really like, they were kind of hiding behind the fact that Josh was disgusting. They weren't being like, yeah, my son is gross, like, yeah, he needs to be put away. Because as you saw in the videos of the interview, they were kind of like putting it under the bush, like kind of brushing it out of the way that Josh did these things when he was a child.
Touching somebody over their clothes. There were a couple incidents where he touched them under their clothes, but it was like a few seconds, and then he...
And obviously when a child does these inappropriate things, you need to get the help that they need, otherwise they'll turn out like Josh did. So I partially blame the parents for this situation as well, because there are so many resources out there for kids that have these sexual deviancies and just these issues, you know, where they can't control themselves, because he didn't get the help he needed. He was a child himself, but he knew what he was doing was wrong, and then that carried into his adulthood. So this is causing quite some more drama now that Jill has put this memoir out. She kind of exposed the parents. She said that Jim Bob treated her worse than he treated her pedophile brother, which is terrible.
Say, like, you treat me worse than you treat my brother, my pedophile brother.
That's got to be painful.
It's, yeah, it is.
She explains that Jim Bob was just very manipulative after the situation, and Jill just kind of felt tricked into her whole family situation. One situation that she felt very tricked into was she was home one day, and Jim Bob kind of made a casual thing, like, oh, go sign this piece of paper that's on the counter when you get the chance. Jill, being young, not knowing what she was signing, it was a contract for 5 years that they could film anything of her. So she didn't want her marriage and her wedding filmed, but they did because she signed this contract. Jill also goes on to explain that she never received a paycheck throughout all the years of filming. Now, keep in mind, her wedding was huge. Like, I remember when I was younger, I watched this wedding, and there was, like, I think 4 million views back then, or now or something, but there are so many views on this wedding, so she should have made so much money, and Jim Bob never paid the children. And think about how big this is. The TLC show, they have multiple shows counting on Jill and Jess. There's another show, Jill and Jessa Counting On, which is Jill in the title, and she never got paid for this. Now, she did say she got a check, I think it was $175,000 or something, but still that does not cover how much she should have received from her family. even the interview that I was talking about before, she felt like she just didn't want to be there, and her family had her speak out, protecting the son and making sure that, they had to speak out because that was under the contract, that was the rule of the parents. They follow the rules, they respect their parents very much, and as do I, but, I just wouldn't defend my brother if that was me. She kind of just said that she felt like she was obligated to do this interview, and like I said, Josh was literally in the room, so it's just a weird situation, this whole entire thing. I haven't read the memoir yet, but I am very interested to. So if you guys want any more information on this case, let me know down below, or just about the Duggars, because I find their story very interesting. I do know that Jill has tried reaching out to Josh, and she's not on the list or something, because Jill kind of separated herself from this family. She now has a nose ring, she wears jeans, she dyed her hair, and she did these things that aren't godly or aren't Christian, or the things that they're not supposed to do. So she's kind of stepped out of her comfort zone, along with a few of her other sisters. And I'm very proud of her for doing that, honestly, because that's great. Because watching her show, it was very strict back then, but she has definitely changed a lot, and I hope that she's getting the justice she needs. I find it very interesting, this whole story, and just kind of 19 Kids Accounting, since I was such a big fan back in the day. Okay guys, so that is it for this video. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see next. I will gladly film that for you. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.